Don't force that because it's not something that's meant to be in your life. Don't force things that are basically resisting you. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Miss Mookie. If you're new here, my channel is all about self-love, self-growth, and helping people to better themselves. So if this sounds like something you've been trying to implement into your life, welcome to my community. This is episode 11 of my summer manifesting series. And if you are new here, then I created a summer series where I talk about the 12 universal laws of manifesting so that we can basically create the life of our dreams, and this just falls into line with bettering ourselves. So like I said, if you're new here, welcome. This is episode 11, so we are going to be talking about the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm states that life has a natural rhythm, a flow. Seasons change, days turn to night, everything has a cycle, even life. So awareness of this law is very important because it helps you to recognize that life has a rhythm. That way you can flow in the direction of life rather than resisting it or going in the opposite direction. Because if you're going in the opposite direction, you're not aligned with your path and your life's purpose. So it helps you to understand that there is a pattern within that flow of life in the universe. And then it also helps you to just realize things like after every winter, spring follows. So whenever something happens, something else will follow because it's on a cycle. It's in a circle. Just think of a circle going round and round and round and round. It's gonna come up again. It's gonna come around again. So if you miss something last cycle, you're going to catch it the next cycle. And this is also similar to the last law that we discussed, which is the law of polarity. If you haven't watched it, please check it out. But it just basically states that there is an opposite end to everything. Everything has an opposite. So every hardship, after every hardship, good times follow. Everything that we experience, literally everything that we experience, has a cycle. Think of women. We have a menstrual cycle that comes up every 28 days. Life has a cycle. Life begins and then it ends. It's literally a cycle, circle. It just goes round and round and round. Everything, even the earth, it goes round and round and round and round because it's orbiting, whatever. I'm not going to get into the scientifics, but everything has a cycle. So say that when you do something that you're supposed to do or that leads you to your greater purpose, you're going to be rewarded with good, something that you perceive as good. And when something bad happens, it's all part of the cycle. That bad is meant to serve, or something that you perceive as bad is meant to serve as a lesson so that you can get in better alignment with your purpose and receive life's rewards, which is the good, or the things that you perceive as good. So I say that to say, if you have good days, you'll have bad days. This law is very similar to the law of polarity because, like I said, the law of polarity stresses the fact that everything has an opposite. Say you're applying for a job and you don't get the job, that's basically a door closing on you. But when one door closes, another one opens. I know we've all heard of the saying by now. When one door opens, another one closes. And this is what the law of rhythm stresses. It's a cycle. So you just keep going and going until you get to that next step in the cycle. So we are all in control of our life and how it turns out. It's highly dependent on our perspective, but this law reminds us that everything does have a cycle. The universe flows in a cycle, and it's important not to resist or force things that are not meant to be. So say if you have somebody who you really want a relationship with, this is your ideal person, but they are seeming as if they do not think the same thing about you. Don't force that because it's not something that's meant to be in your life. Don't force things that are basically resisting you. Don't force it. If it's not coming easy, everything doesn't have to be hard. So if it's not coming easy to you, 9 times out of 10, you are forcing it. Think of a pendulum, how it swings back and forth with just enough little force. But if you push it too hard, then it's going to create too much and it's not going to flow evenly. But with the right amount of force, or just the right amount of force, it flows evenly and it swings back and forth evenly. But if too much force is applied, it disrupts the whole cycle. It disrupts the whole flow of things. That's the same as you forcing things. Putting too much force onto something is not going to follow the natural flow. The law of rhythm also stresses that it's not enough to just want something. So if you want something, you're not supposed to just sit there and wait for it to come to you. You're supposed to apply the law of action, which is why this law is so important, because with each law, this one is literally tied into it. I mean, the law of action is literally tied into it, but it's not enough to just want something. You have to feel it too. So say you're visualizing having a new car, you have to feel as if you already have that new car, so that manifestation can come to you. And then when the time is right, that manifestation will come to you. If you already having something in your mind, then you're not forcing it. You already have it. So that's why it's important to visualize, but it's also important to feel as though you already have it, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you're feeling as if your manifestation is not coming true, that's just because there can be a number of things that are hindering it. You have to do your inner work. But if you've done your inner work and you're still standing at a standstill, you're still feeling stagnant, and your manifestation hasn't come true yet, you have to make sure you feel as if you already have it, so that you're not forcing it when it's time for it to come into fruition. And otherwise, if you're forcing it, otherwise, if you don't feel as if you already have it, it's kind of like pushing that pendulum or putting too much force on that pendulum. It's disrupting the natural flow of things. This law also reminds us to keep in mind that everybody has something going on in their life, whether it's high or low. So be sure that you are celebrating your friends' wins. It doesn't take away from the fact that you will get yours in due time. Just make sure you are celebrating your friends and your family's wins. It doesn't affect what you are getting. So don't sit here and throw enviness or jealousy onto somebody just because they have something that you want. Also stop comparing, because you will get what you want. You just have to realize that you are in control of your life, and you have to shift your perspective. Sometimes we don't get things when we want them, we get them when we need them. So celebrate your friends' wins. Don't let it affect you, because it literally does not take away from what you're supposed to get. And this law also reminds us that you have to trust the process. There is a natural flow for literally everything. So if you're, manifesting something and it just is not happening right away when you want it to, just remember that there is a natural flow for everything. So once that, you're here and the wheel is turning, that will eventually reach you, because there is a natural flow for it. It flows in a circle. So it's going to eventually reach you. So trust the process, stay focused on your goals, and remember that there is a high and a low for literally everything that we experience in life. But the highs and lows are both teaching moments, lessons for all of us. They're lessons, they're teaching moments for all of us. So make sure you are getting information and having a good experience not a good experience, but having a moment where you are able to have some takeaways from both the highs and the lows. And you want to make sure that you are capable of embracing change. The law of rhythms reminds us that everything is in constant change. So you want to make sure that you are capable of embracing change. Don't hold on to things, because that is going to disrupt the natural flow of things. So try to practice detachment, and just allow for things to happen naturally, because that is part of the natural flow of what you're supposed to be experiencing. And then you just want to find balance. Once you are able to embrace change, just establish some balance within yourself, so you can smoothly navigate through the constant changes, because the law of rhythm states that everything is in constant change. You want to embrace those changes, but you also want to establish balance so that you don't fall over when change happens. And always, always, always trust the process. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this law, is trust the process, because everything is in a natural rhythm with the universe. It has its own cycle, its own flow. So just trust the process. Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway for this universal law, is to trust the process. So that is it for this video. I am still learning things about this specific universal law, but this was the 11th universal law. Make sure you are subscribed and have that notification bell turned on so you don't miss the next episode, which we will be talking about the last universal law, which is the law of gender. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.